three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love.
It's a blessing to see people with their heads up to the sky still.
It's very important to be proactive in the waiting room because you're basically setting yourself up while you're single to basically have your next successful relationship or your next breakup.
I remember coming to church and seeing all these godly couples and like internally complaining about it. Like, I'm never gonna have that. This is very unrealistic. You know, I'm seeing all these fairy tale couples. This is never gonna be me. But I was really challenged during the summer that I was here to, instead of thinking about what I wanted in a relationship, talking with friends, complaining about what I wanted in a relationship, to really kind of turn that on its head and see what I liked about these relationships and pray specifically for that kind of relationship.
It's a blessing to see people with their heads up to the sky still. 'Cause honestly, for the same people.
Question that we're always faced with in our relationships, whether we're single, whether we've been married for 60 years, is what's next. So when you graduate from high school, it's what college are you going to? When you get there, it's what's your major. When you graduate from college, it's, you know, what are you going to do for a living? And then it's when you're going to get a promotion, when you're going to get married, when you're going to have kids. There's always a what's next, and there's this pressure that's put on us in relationships. And the way that helped me visualize this is to view our relationships and view who we are as a submarine. And we have our hand on a valve that can allow the pressure from the outside to come in and to come out. And it's important in relationships to listen to the people outside to allow a certain amount of pressure to come in, because you need to go deeper in those relationships. You need to let a little bit more pressure in to make sure it normalizes. But what we do so often is we give other people the power to open up that valve and close it for us. And so when you're in a relationship, you have the hand on that valve, and you can say, I'm going to put this much pressure on us, or I'm going to let this much pressure out. And so it's so important when you're looking at social media and those things. I feel like that's just giving other people the ability to open up that valve of pressure and say, this is what your relationship should be like.
Life can be so real.
I start feeling irritated. I just like, all right, can I get over it? Can I just walk away and forget and say, you know what, we all have our low moments or whatnot. You either address it or get over it. And that's the communication portion of it. And it's critical when you get into the marriage situation, especially because you are stuck with that person. And you can
I'm amazed by all your strength, Diane.
One of the first things, and I guess we consider this an emotional boundary. Before I got married the second time, a lot of my friends, we were claiming we're going to have a husband at this time, and we're going to do this, this, and this. Be careful that when that man walks into your life that you aren't all excited, and then you start thinking, oh, is he the one? No, he may not be the one, and sometimes you get caught up in a relationship that is really not good for you. Allow yourself to get past the infatuation stage, because sometimes you're all excited, you're attracted to this person, you think they are the person, and then you start engaging in some other things. And then you realize you're a little crazy.
Whenever you submit to a man, like, God's called you to be a visionary for that man, to see him how, like, God's created him to be. Like, your role when you submit to a man is to push him into God's given potential that God has called him, like, and placed on his life. That's a heavy role. And so whenever you submit, that's something that you're committing to. And that's not something to be taken lightly.
And I'm grateful you come through.
Bonnie and her family, during this time, they didn't have a single conversation with me about God. Not a single one. The only thing they did was accept me. That was it. Okay? And my challenge to you, right, is real easy to toss people off of your boat, right, and get them out of your life, right, because they don't believe and act the way you do. My suggestion would be to accept them anyway. Right? And I'm going to be very clear, I'm not saying engage in the same stuff that they do, but accept them. That is probably the most powerful concept that can change a person's life.
I'm amazed by all your strength, Diane.
Staying
and I thought the event was really great. It's always good to learn more about love because that's what we're called to do as Christ followers. So it's good to learn more about that in a dating relationship because that's a specific calling that God has given some of us. So it was really great to dig deeper into that, and look forward to next time.
I have been looking forward to the Love Is event for a long time. I missed it last year, and I was so excited that I can make it this year. I think it was a great panel. I think there were great discussion questions. I think it's an event that's necessary. The room is full of different people with different walks of life, different experiences, but all trying to figure out what love is and what that looks like for them. I thought the group did a great job putting this together, and I look forward to seeing it grow in coming years.
Love is just for the balance of opinions and voices that we got to hear from people who've been married for 20 years down to people who've only been dating for 5 months. It's really good just to get in a room full of people and all different degrees of experiences and backgrounds just to talk about that one thing of just figuring out what love is and how to share the love of Christ in our relationships. I thought it was really helpful.
For me, it was just an awesome opportunity to hear some different perspectives and conversations that we've had before that we could probably do a little bit better moving forward. So this is a really good opportunity to take our different perspectives and find a better middle ground.
Exactly. I think for me, what I really benefited from was just not letting myself be isolated in our situations. We go through the same things everyone else is going through, so it was just nice to be a part of a conversation, knowing that the conversations we're having, other people are having, and understanding how they're handling it, and how we can use their tips and advice and life stories to better our relationship. So it was really cool just to be a part of it and hear everybody's life stories.
I thought this was a great experience. The panelists spoke on subjects I think that were very important, that touch our generation. I feel like they were very transparent, and I think it's a great experience. I was here last year, and I think they surpassed my expectations for this year, and I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Alright, so light it in the air for love. Oh, you're beautiful, beautiful.